So you've now turned into someone where is reciting in, for example, New York or Washington or Sydney or Dar es Salaam. But at the same time, you know that there are people in different parts of the world watching that lecture. Does that change the way you approach the lecture? Because I'm guessing when there's no cameras, you're more speaking to that specific community under the mambar, sitting in that mosque. So, for example, you'll address their issues. But when YouTube came about, or when video recording came out, did you change the way you pick your topic?
Yes, I believe that.
Because you're getting emails from someone from another country saying, you know, I'm watching this lecture and it's affected me. So now, does the topic change?
If you look at some of the topics, they showed that if my crowd may not have been very aware of what was happening worldwide, I certainly was. I have lectures, a reply to Dr. Israr Ahmed, a reply to Dr. Zakir Naik, a reply to Haraifi, a reply to Kalbani. You know, there are lectures where there's replies to people, which some people in the crowd were looking at me baffled, thinking, who are you talking about? You know, and especially the reply to Dr. Zakir Naik when he said Yazid, may Allah be pleased with him, which caused uproar in Mumbai. And in the past, the Mumbai crowd would have to rely on somebody in Mumbai to deliver a reply to this Yazid statement. I'm sitting in Sydney, Australia, majority Lebanese community. It's night 10 of Muharram, 2008. And I'm like, Dr. Zakir Naik is one of the most famous speakers in the world, but unfortunately recently, he said so-and-so. When I said Dr. Zakir Naik, you can imagine in the Lebanese crowd, they're looking at me and they're thinking, who's that? What happened was, once YouTube emerges, you then begin to realize that you have the ability and the platform not only to discuss the opinions of others, but to allow your people who are under your pulpit to be able to understand the different issues and challenges that we're facing in the Muslim world. If I lectured on abortion or euthanasia in 2009, there may be nobody in that crowd who's aborted. But when I've had 26 emails saying to me, what's the blood money for abortion? I'm going to use that platform. And the platform moved from Muharram and Shahr Ramadan to also Fatimiyya. There was the emergence of Fatimiyya in 2007. I was fortunate enough to lecture at Bayview, which was the center used by the community previous to Bathurst, which is now being utilized, of course. And Fatimiyya became another platform. These platforms allowed us all to become one community. We all discuss globalization, don't we? And the world's so small, but the onus is on the speaker to prepare topics where you're utilizing the media, you're understanding what sound bites are needed, which words are meant to be in the title, which titles are titles which very much relate to what's happening. My reply to the Pope in 2006, when he spoke about Islam and possibly the spread being quite evil or by the sword, suddenly somebody sitting in Sweden or somebody sitting in parts of Kenya was like, Pope, suddenly typing, oh, Pope, yep. He said, oh, okay. Yeah. So what began to happen was we began to utilize that space. And people would look forward to reply to. But people also weren't just looking forward to these. We now were able to utilize the space to bring about discussions concerning biographies of famous personalities. my biographies of the Ma'sumin in 2011.
Yeah.
Hither to that point, you don't have content online of the biography of the 14 infallibles. And now in the holy month of Ramadan, you've got this chance because of YouTube. And at this point, you still don't really have Islamic television channels.
Yeah.
So YouTube is your Islamic television channel.